not like we've doubled in size or anything like that, but it's been encouraging to see this. Last week we had Pastor Will and his son Austin sitting right there where Jamin and Elaine, just a couple seats over, sitting there. And I spoke to Pastor before the service, and he looked at me and he said, I remember you, Craig, but you don't remember me. I was like, no, your face looks familiar. And he said, we met when you officiated Shirley's wedding. And I was like, I remember, because he had talked to me about the fact that he pastors a smaller church. That was one of the ways we connected. His church is easily between 15 and 20 people. It's never grown larger than 50. And he said, I've been at that church for 10 years. And I said, yeah, I've been a fellowship chaplain for 10 years. And he said, we recently closed the doors. It came to an end. I said, why? He said, it got down to the size of about 15, 20 people, around about this size. And he said it became a spectator sport rather than everybody participating in building up the church. And it died. He said that people came to where all they did was come to church on Sunday. They went through the motions, and that was it. That was all they did in terms of church. And he started preaching to me from Ephesians 4. This is real stuff, family. This is a pastor whose church came to an end because he said they weren't living according to Ephesians 4. And he wasn't bad-mouthing. He was just saying, he said, you know the stat where they say 15% of the people do 100% of the work, or 85% of the work, however that goes? He said, that's what happened. Only about 15% of the people, it was only 15, 20 people, but only a small part of them were doing the work of ministry. Here's a word of encouragement, family. I said, it's interesting, Will. I said, because our church has like 85+% of the people serving. If straight talk, I've had to talk to the district about the size of our church, and Justin and I have to give a report. Here's what's happening at the church. Are we growing? Are we increasing in numbers and all that? That's the reporting we have to give to the district. And I once told John Rich at the district, he said, are you growing numerically? I said, no, we're still about 20, 25 people. But I said, guess what, John? Everybody serves. That's the church. And I will proclaim that message to anyone, anywhere. And family, I hope you agree with me on what I'm saying here, because it is biblical. But if God wanted something in his church and he needed to strip the church to get to this point, it would be that he wants people not participating in a spectator sport where they're just entertained and they come out once a week to go through the motions, but he wants people coming to the place where they say, here's my gifts from God. Let me see how I can use those gifts to build up his church. And I want to be careful I don't overdo, because I'm really passionate for God. And if it takes a stripping of a church to bring them to that place, so be it. To God be the glory, because that's what, telling Pastor Will last week, I was like, we're becoming like that Acts church, New Testament Acts church. People are coming out and they're all serving. And I was sharing with him, I said, I wish more pastors would talk this way. But that's the kind of people they want, people who have their gifts and they're serving, and the church is being built up, because that's who God desires. That's what God desires in his church. And that's what's happening at this church. Final point, family. We'll close on this. So in all of this, let us think and act like parents. I have adults here, but I wanted to put parents up there. That's all Paul is getting at. He's just saying the overemphasis on tongues with you and God proves you're just acting like a child. This is all about me, And I don't think I'm being too hard to say this, family, that Paul is a parent. He considers himself a parent to those churches. Paul's saying, grow up. Think and act like there's more to life than just you. 1 Corinthians 14, 18 and 20. I thank God that I speak in tongues more than all of you. But in the church, I'd rather speak 5 intelligible words to instruct others than 10,000 words in a tongue. So family, stop thinking like children. In regards to evil, be infants. But in your thinking, be like parents. Be adults. You can all give your point of view on what's happened at this church, what is happening, what you think is to come. What was, what is, and what will be. Mine is as we grow up, conforming to God, understanding our gifts, and thinking about other people, this church has no option but to grow. That's it. That's it. It's like a family. Like a family saying, let's focus not just on self, but let's focus on raising our children in a way that honors and glorifies God Almighty. So in closing, here's a couple of sweet thoughts about this family. Let's see, Selah, Nayeli, and Austin. Now, I'm not just making up stuff, okay? Selah, Nayeli, and Austin. Now, those are returning people that's been here in the last 3 weeks. Selah, 2-year-old little thing. Remember, she was running around, cute little girl, just running around, little cute little thing. I know I'm not supposed to call kids things, but you know what I mean. They're a beautiful child of God, okay? All the right names. Don't be fussy. Beautiful child of God. But it was there were a couple that visited us a few weeks back, had a little child. We just loved on her for the week she was here. Nayeli, I'm saying her name right? Nayeli, yeah. Nayeli was here last week. And then she was sitting with Dan and Annie. This sweet little thing, you know, 5, I'll say thing again, sweet little child, 5, 6 years old. And Austin, he wasn't a little kid, he was 12 years old. He was, like I said, Austin was seated right there. Last few weeks, God's just been bringing people like that. And I thought one of the sweetest things happened last week with Nayeli. It was during the time of communion and during service, what happened was Heidi Joy went over and sat next to Nayeli. And Heidi Joy was like talking to her about communion and things like that. And Heidi Joy was having like a big sister influence on little Nayeli, because Nayeli's pretty expressive and, you know, like a child, kind of disruptive and things like that, but I have no problem with that. I love seeing new returning faces and like, to God be the glory. But it was like, Heidi Joy was like big sister-like, you know, like talking to her, actually calming her down. My closing point, mentioning what's happening in our church, mentioning these young people and children and things like that is, children are supposed to act like children. They're supposed to, you know, not know all the rules like we do and maybe run around a bit and maybe be a bit disruptive. But we, you know I'm speaking to us, we're supposed to act like adults. Children, it's not surprising that they're just like, me, right? Me, give me that. I want that. Give me, you know, me. That's fine. Let them be that way. We can nurture them along and teach them to be more other-centered as they get older and they mature. But we adults are not supposed to be that way. And if we grew to, let's say, 50 people in the next 3 months, and we do not undo me as the center, all we're doing is setting ourselves up for the next split. That's why I know God gave Justin that message last week about Lucifer's fall, because it was all centered on him. And Paul's just writing the same thing. If you want to avoid that and you want to grow properly, act like a healthy parent, where the center of life, where life doesn't just center on you, but it's others. Family, that's all for the message today. God, just give me a heart to focus on someone other than me. And not I always say this, that I'm closing, but I really am closing. I believe God's design for the church would be, in a healthy way, that if no one looked to their own interests, but the interests of others, then ultimately you wouldn't have to care for yourself. I know it sounds kind of weird. It's actually in Philippians 2. Don't look to your own interests, but look to the interests of others, because you have the mind of Christ. But I think God designed the body that if everyone would look to the interests of someone other than themselves, everyone would be taken care of. God bless you.